Urgent Atlanta Falcons fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Atlanta Falcons updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, Falcons fans, today we've got some really intriguing news that could shake up the team's roster and perhaps even redefine their defensive strategy for the upcoming season. The buzz around the NFL circles right now is centered on the possibility of the Atlanta Falcons making a bold move, potentially trading for one of the most talented and experienced cornerbacks in the league, Jalen Ramsey. Yes, you heard that right. Jalen Ramsey, a player who's been a cornerstone of the Los Angeles Rams secondary, might be heading to Atlanta, and I know this has everyone talking. But as with any big NFL move, it's not that simple. There are a lot of hurdles, a lot of factors to consider, and plenty of moving parts that could influence whether this deal actually happens. First, let's talk about what the Falcons are really after. It's not just about adding another player to fill a spot. No, this is about strategic depth, about bringing in athletes who can contribute right away, especially in a defense that's looking to be more aggressive and disruptive. The Falcons under head coach Raheem Morris have made it clear that they want a defense that flies around, that attacks the ball, and that can challenge opposing offenses at every turn. Ramsey, with his elite coverage skills, versatility, and leadership, checks all those boxes. He's a player who can lock down top receivers, create turnovers, and bring that veteran presence that the Falcons are somewhat lacking after losing some key pieces in recent years. Now, the connection between Raheem Morris and Jalen Ramsey is well known. Morris and Ramsey have a history dating back to their time together at the Los Angeles Rams, where Ramsey thrived under Morris's coaching. That familiarity, that mutual respect, could be a significant factor in any potential trade discussions. It's not just about what Ramsey can do on the field, which, let's be honest, is elite, but also about the chemistry and rapport he could quickly build with the current Falcons secondary. That's a big deal because chemistry matters so much in the NFL, especially in a secondary where communication and trust are vital. But here's where the complications come in. On paper, and especially financially, acquiring Ramsey isn't just a walk in the park. The Rams, or whoever might be involved in a trade, would likely want significant draft capital in return. And that's where the Falcons face a challenge. They are somewhat limited in their draft assets for 2025, mainly because of previous trades. For instance, the Falcons already traded back into this year's first round to select James Pierce Jr., an edge rusher who they see as part of their future pass rush. This move cost them their 2026 first-round pick, which is a pretty big deal because first-round picks are gold in today's NFL. They're the cornerstone for building a team long-term. So, with that in mind, it's logical to think that the Falcons might be hesitant to part with more high-value picks, especially in a draft year that's expected to be deep in talent. However, this isn't to say that a trade is impossible. Sometimes, you have to give a little to get a lot. The key here is whether the Dolphins, the current team of Ramsey, would be willing to accept a package that is more manageable for Atlanta. Rumor has it that the Dolphins might be interested in a couple of day 2 picks in the 2026 draft, which, given Atlanta's limited draft capital for that year, could be a sticking point. But if the Dolphins see Ramsey as a player who can help them contend now and are willing to accept a slightly less valuable package, then perhaps this deal could still happen. Here's where things get interesting for Falcons fans. Ramsey's potential arrival isn't just about bolstering the secondary. It's part of a broader strategy of building a defense that can compete at the highest level. The Falcons have already made some moves to improve their secondary, drafting Xavier Woods and Billy Bowman to add youth and talent to their safety and corner positions. Plus, they brought in undrafted free agent Kobe Bryant, who has shown flashes of promise. Bryant, from Kansas, went undrafted but has the athleticism and skills that could give him a shot at making the roster, especially in a team that's desperate to add veteran leadership and playmakers on defense. The team's current cornerback situation is interesting. They've got players like A.J. Terrell, one of the best young cover men in the league, but they lack that consistent, lockdown presence across from him. That's why the idea of Ramsey joining the fold is so appealing. Imagine a secondary that features Ramsey, Terrell, and a developing young safety core. That's a formidable group, one that could turn the Falcons' defense into one of the league's most feared units. But let's not forget the bigger picture. The Falcons are in a bit of a win-now mode. They've been building this roster with the goal of competing in the NFC South and making a real push in the playoffs. Adding a player of Ramsey's caliber would send a loud message that the Falcons are serious about contending right now. It's a move that could shift the balance of power in the division, especially if they can pair him with their existing talent and maybe even bring in a veteran pass rusher or linebacker to complete the puzzle. And speaking of pass rushers, there's been talk about other veterans like Trey Hendrickson from the Cincinnati Bengals, who could also bring veteran leadership and pass rushing prowess to Atlanta. But the question remains, what can the Falcons really offer? Their draft capital is limited, and they've already used some of it on key additions. They might have to get creative, perhaps offering a combination of lower-round picks or players in exchange for immediate help. Now, let's consider the potential impact if this trade does materialize. Jalen Ramsey, with his competitive edge, leadership, and elite coverage ability, could instantly elevate the Falcons' secondary to a new level. His experience in high-pressure games, his ability to shut down top receivers, and his knack for creating turnovers could be exactly what Atlanta needs to take that next step in their defensive evolution. Plus, his presence would send a message to the rest of the league that the Falcons are not only rebuilding but are also ready to compete with the best. Of course, there are risks involved. Ramsey has battled injuries in the past, and any trade involves giving up future assets for immediate gains. The Falcons must weigh whether the short-term boost is worth the potential long-term cost. But with the season approaching and the team aiming to make a playoff run, this kind of aggressive move makes a lot of sense from a strategic standpoint. Now, to wrap it all up, the possibility of Jalen Ramsey donning the Falcons' colors is one of the most exciting rumors swirling around the NFL right now. It's a move that could reshape their defense and send a strong message to their division rivals. But as always, nothing is guaranteed in the NFL until it's officially announced. The trade talks are still in the early stages, and a lot will depend on what the Dolphins want in return, how the Falcons negotiate, and whether both sides see the value in making a deal happen. So, Falcons fans, keep your eyes peeled. This story isn't over yet, and the next few days could bring some big surprises. Whether Ramsey joins Atlanta or stays in Miami, one thing's for sure, the team is clearly looking to make a statement this season, and every move they make will be scrutinized and celebrated by fans like you. The future is bright, and it's filled with possibilities. Whether it's adding a veteran star like Ramsey or making other strategic moves, the Falcons are definitely a team to watch as the offseason unfolds. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Atlanta Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news.